Let's have a look at the lineups. Bob Bradley will, of course, rotate his options as the game goes on, but this is his starting side, containing all 6 of the Seattle Sounders representatives. 9 of this 11 were voted in by the fans, media and players. The 2 coaches picked to start are Diego Rossi and Gustavo Bou. Only Rossi and centre-back Walker Zimmerman have played in an all-star game before. Raul Ruidiaz up front leads the MLS scoring charts this season with 14 goals so far. Everybody else in the squad is available off the bench. Here's the starting 11 for the Liga MX side. All 3 Santos Laguna representatives start for Juan Reynoso, their Peruvian coach. He led Cruz Azul to the Clausura title this year. He's also picked his star striker Jonathan Rodriguez up front alongside Nicolas Ibanez. Only 4 of the starters are Mexican, including veteran keeper Guillermo Ochoa, who has 114 caps for his country. 12 different clubs are represented in the squad, but only 5 of those in this starting lineup. Wonderful setting in the city of Los Angeles, which has always had such a strong Mexican heritage. Very fitting venue for a fixture such as this. It's been a long wait, of course. The plan was to play this game last year, a first meeting against the best of Liga MX, and we hope, Matt Jackson, it will be worth the wait this evening. Always a showpiece occasion.
Yes, it is, and it's rare that players get a chance to just go out and express themselves with very little pressure. Obviously want to perform well, but they are free to just go and play, and it's very rare as a professional that you get that sort of opportunity. You can banter away with the mates. It's not actually an easy thing to do, just to go out and demonstrate your skills in a game situation and get it right all of the time. We hope there'll be a bit of tempo, and as we heard in the build-up, we hope there'll be a bit of bite.
More likely, I guess, given the opposition this evening. It is usually, or has been in recent seasons, a European club side during their pre-season that have provided the opposition for the MLS All-Stars. But Liga MX in town, adding that little bit of extra edge, I'm sure. Just a couple of training sessions for the players, and Bob Bradley has mentioned it's difficult to get the balance right between entertaining the fans and the tempo on the pitch. He is calling on his captain, really, Christian Roldan, to try and set the tone in that respect, get that balance right.
Yeah, and they will certainly do that, the players. They will be very sharp. Of course, they'll enjoy it, and there won't be the intensity, so there'll be a bit more space for those creative players to try their tricks and demonstrate. But no player wants to be humiliated either, so that's where the little bite might be added in. The likes of Lucas Elarajan, who has previous experience of playing in Mexico. He knows the opposition very well indeed. Some star names on show. The visitors will be all in the white, with the action on the way in a moment. It's the first all-star game for referee Armando Villarreal after almost a decade of MLS service, and we do have VAR this evening. John Freeman has that responsibility. MLS All-Stars in the specially commissioned black strip from left to right in this first period. And an extra edge to the All-Star game tonight, an exhibition it may be, but as Bob Bradley has said, where the USA and Mexico are involved, it is a rivalry. Bragging rights for the best league in North America up for grabs tonight, and a global platform for the star names to show what they've got. We are expecting entertainment this evening. It is the culmination, really, of a week of festivities building up to this. The All-Star game is big in terms of the work done in the community and the events laid on for these supporters. We've had the concerts and the fan parks, and now full focus, Matt Jackson on the pitch. Yeah, and I like this start as well. A couple of challenges early on, a little bit of pressure. That's good, and Bob Bradley will also know, as much as he wants players to go out and express themselves, the way that you do that is in the framework of a professional performance to start with. So do it right, start as you would normally start a game. As I say, it's very difficult just to turn on the skills in a game environment. Almost has to be a natural element as well.
The whole event, says Bradley, is fun, but it won't be if the players don't get their performance right over these next 90 minutes. This is João Paulo. Launching it forward for Nuhu. Gustavo Bo ahead of him. And the Reds man is able to deliver the cross. It didn't quite come for Villarreal. Alex Roldan. Almost combining there with his brother, and it's a big day for those two. The first MLS All-Stars to play in the same game together. And they do so in their home city. They went to school about 15 miles from here.
Yeah, been really good. Christian we've obviously known about for an awfully long time, and Alex really catching him up now. The performances and the consistency that the older brother has shown for so long.
Comes in from Villarreal. Two teammates with the Seattle Sounders. They'll be in opposition at the start of World Cup qualifying, because Alex is now an El Salvador international and impressed at the Gold Cup. Villarreal heavily involved in the early stages, as perhaps to be expected.
Yeah, Keno's clever here, just gets his body across, allows the contact to take place. But we've seen enough challenges in this opening couple of minutes just to know that it's always going to be competitive. That's what you ask first and foremost.
And the two brothers, the only brothers previously to play for the All-Stars were the Dos Santoses, Giovanni and Jonathan, but they never actually did so in the same year, those two. Alex and Christian starting together, and 2 of 6 Seattle players in this starting 11, so there will be some cohesion, I guess. Maybe that's part of Bob Bradley's plan from the start. The changes later will come thick and fast. It's a first All-Star fixture for both of them. Alex, of course, having something of a breakthrough season. Christian in his 7th year. Standing, though, underlined by the fact the fans have voted him in to skipper this side. Zipping it around at a decent tempo early on.
It absolutely is. The pace has been excellent early on. The pitch looks pretty lively. We saw it being heavily watered at the start, but it does look pretty lively, which helps. Not too many players having too many touches.
This is Diego Rossi, playing at his home ground. One of Bob Bradley's picks. Knows what he can do with LAFC. He's been having a difficult season, really, by his standards. This man's been having a super season. Top scorer in MLS, Rui Diaz, is down.
Yeah, and Aquino just letting him know, not running around and parading all evening here. This was late. Wasn't a really very good challenge, and that we talk about spicing a game up, we talk about adding a little bit of tension into it. It's a sort of challenge like that, which is, it's a poor challenge because it's so late. He knows what he's doing. It's not malicious, but he does know exactly what he's doing in knocking Rui Diaz over there.
Rui Diaz, one of those that does have previous playing in Mexico. Seattle signed him 4 seasons ago from the Morelia club. He's been their top scorer every season since. João Paulo with the free kick. Gina coming under pressure. Back helping out his defence was Ibanez. Gustavo Bo. He's 2 goals behind Rui Diaz in the scoring stakes in the race for the Golden Boot. And there's Nuhu.
He doesn't like this, thinks he gets knocked off the ball. See, this ball goes for the give and go. Just a little bit of, can he know how? Don't want to chase them back. It's cooling down a bit now, but you don't want to be chasing around too much in this heat. Might as well knock them over instead.
Bo battling for that up against Jorge Sanchez, just running out of room. Plenty for the Seattle supporters to enjoy. 6 representatives in the squad, all of them starting. It's 3 more than any other club side. Including Nuhu, who we saw a moment ago, who hasn't actually played since the end of May. He's on his way back from injury. A little bit of game time tonight. He was back on the Sounders bench at the weekend.
Always such an upbeat kind, isn't he? Perfect for an all-star game, because you know he's going to give his all, whatever he's doing, particularly now as he battles to get back into that starting 11 for his club side as well. Certainly been one of my favourites over the years. He's got such an outstanding attitude.
recognition for him tonight. The highlights, he says, of his career thus far. Here he is trying to stop this Liga MX attack. Diego Valdez will be dangerous as the attacking midfield player in what is nominally really a 4-4-2. Sanchez forward from fullback, trying to return it. Had Jonathan Rodriguez as his target in the middle. Zimmerman away.
Ooh.
There is a big shout, but it's on the way of the MLS side. There's Diego Valdez down.
Handball is given, I think, the referee. He's given handball. Blues whistle very quickly. Interesting challenge. That's definitely a foul somewhere else on the pitch. And the Mexicans really not sure either. Not surprised they don't like that one.
It was with that challenge on Valdez. Let's go the way of the home side. On they go up towards Rui Diaz. Just had the time to turn. It may yet break for Rossi. Goalkeeper comes out, didn't get there. The defender did brilliantly off the line, and Bo can't force it in on the follow-up. That is a stunning piece of defending. Sanchez, I think it was, who got back.
That's absolutely fantastic clearance. Rossi does absolutely everything right, dinks it over the goalkeeper. But just look at the reaction for the Mexicans as well when this is kept out. A little bit lucky, but that's a great first touch. There's a really good second one, and that looks like it's going to be just an unbelievable goal. And the clearance is absolutely outstanding. Athleticism. Sanchez it is, getting back to clear with his right foot. And that's, I love that. Exhibition game always matters.
No doubt that they are up for this. We always suspected they would be, but the evidence has been delivered early. A crucial contribution from Jorge Sanchez. He plays for Club America, formerly of Santos Laguna, where he came through the youth ranks. He's just back actually from Tokyo, part of the Mexican squad that won bronze at the Olympic Games. But the goalkeeper, Ochoa, was one of the overage players in that squad, was also part of the party in Tokyo. He played in 5 Gold Cups down the years and won 114 caps for Mexico. And by Doria. Zimmerman gets there first, just ahead of Ibanez. Jonathan Rodriguez. Stopped by Walker Zimmerman, breaks for Diego Valdez, no way through for him though, and then teed up for Goriaran to strike one.
Shades of under-12s where it's a little bit all excited early on. Everyone chasing the ball round, not much space, certainly in the wide areas. It's been very compact so far in the central areas of the pitch. She's looking a little bit worse for wear, isn't it?
First 10 minutes here, now flown by. So again is forced to intervene. That's Nicolas Ibanez, new signing for Pachuca from San Luis, who he helped to promotion. Just been called across here. Just a temporary halt brought to proceedings with the game in full flow. Not immediately clear from the referee's conversation on the touchline as to why he stepped in. But it is all about entertainment, really. The crowd at the forefront of the thinking for an event such as this. Wonderful setting at Banc of California Stadium, and it is a fitting setting, isn't it, given the Mexican heritage in the city, the number of Mexicans who live in LA.
Yeah, and also right with Bob Bradley having to lead the side, being the host manager, playing.
We are going to get play back underway. Got a glimpse of Chicharito, who was initially in the squad. He was voted into the MLS All-Stars, but unable to take his place because of injury. After that brief interlude, we are back underway again, with Kevin Alvarez coming forward. One of the younger representatives in the Liga MX are the 22-year-old. Came through the Pachuca Academy. He's just made his debut, actually, for the senior Mexican side. That little stoppage just interrupting the early rhythm of the game, which had been building up.
Yeah, it's a shame. You just have to make sure they get conditions in the stadium right, player safety, but again, players right back at it. Tackles going in. Certainly Aquino here, number 5, he's revved up. Seen him make 3 challenges already. Oh, it's a bit painful off that dressing around the arm. João Paulo. As I said at the start, we see the challenge coming in. One, and then a little follow-up. Players, don't want to lose to start with, but also don't want to be made to look silly in these sort of circumstances.
Jean with the shot, which was blocked away. João Paulo back in the thick of things, finding Rui Diaz, who's outnumbered. Still very nearly made something of that. Nuhu. Alex Roldan joining in with the attack, as he's done for Seattle all season. On that right-hand side, now his brother taking over. It's Christian with the cross, and it's clutched by Guillermo Ochoa.
Very comfortably. Good intent though, again. Using the bit of width for the first time. Good bit of skill from Roldan with the cutback. Been delighted so far with this first 15 minutes.
Very familiar figure in the Liga MX goal, Ochoa. He's back with Club America, where he started his career, very much his club. He had some notable spells in Europe in between. Played on the biggest stages at World Cups with Mexico as well. A remarkable record of consistency in qualifying out of the group stages, but going no further. Another big USA-Mexico clash to come in November at the start of the latest World Cup qualifying cycle. Only 4 Mexicans in this starting 11 for Liga MX, but they feel they have a point or two to prove after defeats to the USA in the Gold Cup and the Nations League finals earlier in the summer. Jean sees that one comfortably gathered up by the keeper again.
Yeah, we haven't really seen a clear-cut chance, have we? There's been some really good play early on. That was the best of it by far. You can see the clearance and how good it was, the athleticism Sanchez showed to read the play and get back in there.
It has been, hasn't it, a major moment so far. Walker Zimmerman back on familiar territory, 2 years an LAFC player, returning as Nashville's first ever All-Star representative. Very good, he says, to see some familiar faces behind the scenes and some former teammates again. One of those that was voted in to the squad, having previously played in the fixture in 2019. There wasn't a game last year for the obvious reasons because of the pandemic, but it is still notable how few players involved have actually featured in an all-star game before. Backup goalkeeper Andre Blake is in his third, but he's the only one who can say that. I think back to the likes of Landon Donovan, he played in 14 of them. It's a relatively inexperienced setup this year.
Well, but also for players, they know the eyes of the world, the footballing world will certainly be upon them, and you never know who may be watching, you never know what opportunities are out there. Obviously we have some very established professionals, some internationals, but you still never know whose eye you might just catch.
It is a global stage these days, isn't it? And that is so important for these two leagues, and spreading the word. Liga MX, well established, and historically their club's much the more successful in the CONCACAF competitions, which has been backed up again so far this year in the Champions League, with 3 of the 4 semi-finalists, and ditto in the Leagues Cup competition as well. There's a general perception, certainly, that the gap between the leagues is getting smaller and smaller. It's closing all the time. It's the point that Zellarajan made, and he should know, having won both of them. Alvarez trying to nudge this clear. Diego Valdez, been called up by Chile for World Cup qualifying actually next month, looking to add to his 13 caps. Knew who dealt with that one well. We are seeing, of course, more competition, more collaboration between these leagues. No longer is it just the CONCACAF Champions League, but the aforementioned Leagues Cup, the Campeones Cup between the respective champions as well. There's been talk further down the line maybe of the leagues one day merging. Even the FIFA chief Gianni Infantino's had his say on that, hasn't he? There's Diego Rossi all the way through.
He's wasted Alex Roldan's run around him as well, down the outside.
In reserve for later. The vast majority will get a go at some stage. There's Andre Blake hoping to play for a third time in the All-Stars fixture. We saw Rodolfo Pizarro a late call up on Monday after a productive weekend with Inter Miami. There's 2 goals against Toronto, earning him MLS Player of the Week honours. He's the only Mexican actually in the MLS squad after the withdrawals of Chicharito and Carlos Vela. All sorts of space here for Liga MX. In it goes, Rodriguez scores! Took it beautifully. The opening goal comes 20 minutes in. It's Jonathan Rodriguez who scored it. The Uruguayan international of Cruz Azul kept his composure. He was the top scorer last season in Mexico, and gives us a glimpse of why.
Yeah, so they've certainly been competitive, hadn't really created anything themselves. Just sure the one chance for the MLS All-Stars up to this point, but it's a fantastic crossfield ball. Really good striking instincts. Alex Roldan just gets himself too square, can't track the flight of the ball. Not the greatest strike, certainly not the purest, but lovely composure. Galasi just done a little bit with pace. Just wonder as well, with Jimenez just blocking his vision a bit, whether that put him off. Doesn't matter, look at the delight on the faces of Liga MX All-Stars.
One of the talisman of the team, really. One of the star names of the league. Cabecita, as he's known, was the top scorer and the player of the season over the course of the last year in Mexico, and taking the title with Cruz Azul. 24 goals in total. Big reason why Cruz Azul were able to win their 9th league title. The first in over 20 years, though. It's one of the reasons why their coach, Juan Reynoso, was named Coach of the Year, and that's why he's in charge of their All-Stars team tonight. Rodriguez, the only starter from the champions in this 11. He's the man that has opened the scoring, and they come again here. Liga MX with Kevin Alvarez. Trying to hoist it into the middle. It's out by Walker Zimmerman. Giancarlo needed to get a foot in as well, and can Gustavo Bo keep it in? He does. The New England Revolution man is on the move. He did have 4 players actually called up, the Revs, who are currently leading the Supported Shield race, but Carlos Hill pulled out through injury, and Tajon Buchanan unavailable. He was Don Garber's pick, actually, one of 2, the commissioner's picks, along with Cade Cowell, but he's been in Europe this week, securing a move to Club Brugge, undergoing a medical, and he will be making that move back to Belgium on a permanent basis at the end of the year. He will be staying with the Revs as part of that deal for the rest of this season. It has now been announced after a standout season for the Canadian.
And that opening goal for the Liga MX team certainly just seems to have rocked the MLS All-Stars a little bit. Just some evidence there with a blow to the head, the competitive nature of this game. It's great that it's been played with that real pace, and it suits the players. The players, they don't want to play a pedestrian play, just a clash of heads. Oh, there you go, proper game.
Score it in the thick of it again. Rodriguez up against Alex Roldan. He has had a spell in Europe, a couple of spells in Europe actually, was with Benfica, and then out on loan at Deportivo La Coruña. First moved to Mexico with Santos Laguna in 2016, won a Clausura title with them a couple of years later. Very much a main man now for Cruz Azul. His goal, the difference so far, just past the midway point of the first half. And traditionally in these All-Star games, it's usually about half an hour in where the changes start to be made. A lot of those pre-planned, trying to give minutes to as many as possible and not, of course, overload anybody with a full set of fixtures to come in MLS at the weekend.
Yes, that's the one. You don't need irate coaches ringing you up from the other clubs, do you? When their team takes a battering at the weekend and it all becomes your fault. For Bob Bradley long enough in the tooth to understand exactly what his responsibilities are. He won't like being behind here.
His 3rd time actually in charge of an All-Star game. He was the coach in 2003 when they also faced Mexican opposition in Chivas Guadalajara. And in 2001 he took charge of the Western Conference in a 6-all draw against the East. It was back in the old format in the early days of the league. East played West. If we do get a draw after 90 minutes tonight, we go straight to penalties, no extra time. It does have to be a winner. 4 times previously it's gone to spot kicks, and the MLS All-Stars have never been successful in such a scenario, but that is one for later. They've got work to do here, having gone behind early. The Brazilian was voted defender of the season last season. From a Marseille man with Santos Laguna, they were beaten by Cruz Azul in the final. Those of you who might not be as familiar with the Liga MX setup, it is similar to MLS in that there is a regular season and then the playoffs. Cruz Azul topped both last year. And they come again with options in the middle. Giancarlo couldn't prevent the cross from coming in. It was awkward. Nobody quite advanced enough in that area in white to attack it, and away by Alex Roldan.
Yeah, he did much better that time. It's a fantastic ball and lovely bit of skill as well. Drag back, double shuffle, and a really good flighted ball. Not a good sign when you haven't got any centre forwards in that 6-yard box. That's where you get your easy goals.
Of Canelo and Funes Mori beginning on the bench, and we'll see those two later. Villarreal's going to take the corner kick with their Uruguayan contingent. He went to the Copa America actually earlier in the summer. Second chance to deliver, does so dangerously. Doria up from the back, away by Yeimar.
Zimmerman does really well. It's very quick movement, it's great delivery. Good movement in the box.
Well, the first change does come early, even before the half-hour mark. Ibanez is going to be replaced here by Santiago Jimenez. It'll be a straight swap up front. Jimenez is with the champions, Cruz Azul, when he came through the youth ranks. And Pineda is also on for Angel Mena on the left-hand side of midfield. The two coming on are teammates at club level with Cruz Azul. Pineda will be leaving them though at the end of the year, a deal reportedly already agreed for him to join Celta Vigo in La Liga. Changed the keeper as well. Ochoa replaced by Talavera. His first involvement is to come racing out of his area and try and clear that one away. He's with the Pumas club. Alfredo Talavera, and he's been part of Liga MX for the last 18 years now. 11 of those with Toluca. He's, as I say, since moved on at the age of 38. 38 times capped Mexican international as well. One of 3 keepers in the squad and the second to see playing time already. Ochoa's role was a cameo one, really.
Clean sheets are clean sheets for the goalkeepers.
He'll take that, won't he?
He certainly will. Got you a lead. What could possibly go wrong?
Rui Diaz and Gustavo Bo combine. It's the 26 MLS goals between those two so far this season. Despite having the numbers, they weren't able to keep the pressure on, and Doria will clear long. Alex Roldan. Wasn't even a regular with Seattle until late last season. He forced his way in really during that playoff run all the way to MLS Cup. And the switch-in system for the Sounders this season to 3 at the back means he's revelled in the right wing-back role. Slightly more orthodox full-back position for him here, and for Nuhu, who's been playing in that 3-man Sounders back line.
Yeah, he's talked up the fact that he used to be a centre-back, and it's been a fairly simple transition for him. You do get the feeling with Tolo that he can play just about anywhere, and keep throwing him into games, and he'd love to play game after game. The enthusiasm that he shows.
Great to see that being rewarded this season, isn't it? We're going to see a significant number of changes now. I mentioned that half-hour mark was a likely point in the game where Bob Bradley would be mixing it up. And so is the case. Andre Blake's making his way into goal. Pedro Galese beaten by that Jonathan Rodriguez effort. Other than that, didn't have an awful lot to do, and his evening is over. He's another just on his way back, actually, after missing the last half-dozen games for Orlando City, who have a game on Friday night against Inter Miami. Pizarro is also on, as is Cade Cal, who was initially set to start this game before Diego Rossi came in, but he's on in place of Rui Diaz, who was John Garber's other pick, and San Jose player, but this is the man who scored the only goal so far, Jonathan Rodriguez. He's a little bit too heavy as he tried to touch that through, and Andre Blake's first involvement is a fairly straightforward one.
Yeah, unselfish with the pass, but it was too much pace on that ball played forward. And just thinking this sort of situation, as a centre forward, free hit, expecting a shot to come in there.
Pizarro, who we mentioned, taking the place, by the way, of Zelarajan. A player with experience of playing in Liga MX, replaced by another. Change at the back as well. This is LAFC's Jesus Murillo on as the flag goes up against Gustavo Bo. Dory was trying to get back to him, but it was ultimately academic.
Such good pace, hasn't it? Enthusiasm for the game. Gustavo Bo comes in off that left flank, now leading the line.
Confirmation of the changing goalkeeper as well. Like of the Philadelphia Union playing his third All-Star game. Here's Valdez to Jonathan Rodriguez. These were two tipped for big things coming into this fixture, and you can see why, given what's gone on already. Other changes at left back. Kai Wagner, another Philadelphia player, is on for Nuhu. So half of the Seattle starters have now been withdrawn. Wagner having an excellent season with last year's Supporters' Shield winners. He was one of Bob Bradley's picks. It will take a few minutes after such a significant number of substitutions for them to find their stride again. That is always the danger, but it's unavoidable in a fixture such as this. Those coming on determined to make their mark as well. Rodriguez once more was the target, which Roldan had to be alert, and was.
And he loves attacking, doesn't he, as a fullback? Got himself back just in time. There we see the goal. Was not quite so successful with the clearance. You always know you're in trouble. They say if the attacker can see your number, your body position is wrong. And it certainly was wrong there for Roldan.
This is in and gathered up by Blake, who made it his decisively. And finds Gustavo Bo in space. Got Pizarro and Cowell ahead of him. Still with Bo. Adolfo Pizarro has been finding his form in the last few weeks with Inter Miami. Difficult season for him. But 3 goals in the last 2 games, his first 3 goals of the season. Slightly different role under Phil Neville in the last month or so since returning from the Gold Cup, where he was a late call-up actually to the Mexican squad that were beaten by the USA in the final. We'll see Miles Robinson at some stage, the centre-back who scored the winning goal in extra time for the USA. Pineda. His move to Europe secured, we hear. Here's the pathway from MLS to Europe, which has been getting wider and wider in recent seasons, particularly this year. And that is further evidence, I think, of the gap between these leagues closing.
Yeah, it's really not much to be given between the two. Pace certainly, with all of those changes, gone out of the game a little bit. Still of excellent technical standard. Just a bit more space out there. Neither side pressing quite as much as they did in the opening half an hour.
Back it goes to Talavera. Doria. A solitary cap for Brazil came about 8 years ago. A teenager at the time, very much one of the top defenders in Mexico now. As mentioned, he was voted the best in his position in the league. Different type of challenge for him posed by the 17-year-old Cade Cowell, scorer of 4 goals so far this season for San Jose. There's a real balance in the MLS squad in terms of established names, up-and-coming players, and indeed better balance this year, because for the first time the vote was conducted in terms of individual positions rather than just naming defenders, midfielders and attackers, and getting an imbalance in that respect with the biggest names voted in. Right backs and left backs had their own spot this year. It did tend to make the coach's job a bit more difficult, I think, in years gone by.
Yes, never a volunteer to be right back, is there? Who on earth would ever want to play there?
MLS All-Stars patient and probing in possession here.
Just can't get the link-up played quite right at the moment.
As a result, the goalkeeper not tested. Bo would have backed himself to do better, maybe.
Yeah, he just snatches at the shot slightly, drags it wide, that right hand upright. Build-up play's been good. Interesting for a coach, isn't it? This your instinct is to coach, but you also probably know that the players aren't really going to be listening, and heart's probably not in it at all. So it's a bit of guidance, I would say, probably more than coaching that is required from Bob Bradley. Funnily enough, once you cross that white line, the blood starts flowing. It's very rare that the result doesn't matter. The MLS All-Stars will not be happy to be behind in this fixture.
And having a tough time of it with LAFC recently. They've uncharacteristically lost their last 4 matches, not winning 7. Bob Bradley hoping for a little bit of respite on this showpiece occasion tonight, and also hoping to play, and he has been a little bit in the build-up on the motivation, given the rivalry with Mexico, which he knows all about, of course, from his days as USA head coach.
Pizarro just leaving a bit on Aquino here, who's been an absolute menace. It was actually retribution for a little bit of contact that had happened previous to that. Aquino's certainly got some challenges in so far. He's enjoyed the henchman in the middle role. He seems to have been assigned.
Very much in the thick of things. Villarreal will leave it for Doria. This is Alvarez. Cade Cowell's back doing his defensive duties. Magina to Sanchez, and back again. Signing at the start of this year for Club America, Pedro Aguina from Leon, where he was a Apertura winner in 2020. Mexican season, well, the calendar year split into 2 separate seasons, the Apertura and the Clausura.
Wow, that was given for handball. That's an interesting one.
He's a little unlucky, isn't he?
Would it have been that important anyway? The fact that it was wrong, neither here nor there.
Back by Cesar Montes to his goalkeeper Talavera to clear. This way, well, break for Gustavo Bo on his touch. Sees it run away from him. Big chance, which he didn't make the most of.
Oh, it was presented to him from nowhere as well, wasn't it? I think with his pace, a little bit of composure, the angle's going to help him as well on that right foot. He just completely takes way too heavy a touch. The ball's away from him. The Mexicans, or the Mexican side, continue to move the ball really well as well in possession. And again, this press, they certainly are not here for fun.
João Paulo able to come away with this, and he does have plenty of options. Diego Valdez, good ball. It opens things up immediately, and here is the chance for 2, but Andre Blake is able to make the save.
What a pass. What a pass we see here inside the fullback on the half turn. Absolutely magnificent. And Blake does brilliantly well, showing his athleticism, the way that he reads the game. It's been a very strong right arm.
Down to deny Santiago Jimenez, who was the player on the receiving end with that brilliant ball. Diego Valdez hoisting it forward this time inside the final 5 of the first half now. Jonathan Rodriguez. And neatly done. Well, his goal separates them so far, trying to turn, provided they in turn look to play it back into his path, but didn't quite have the space for that. And now comes the MLS All-Stars counter. And again, Rossi's just overrun it, having set off a very promising surge.
Oh, wasn't it? Again, brilliant break forward, pace both ways. Okay, the defences might be a little bit split, but we see the chance. Gustavo Bo, and it's that touch takes it away from him straight away. You see the frustration. Very grateful. Talavera down to his feet, but that was excellent as well. The other end, Andre Blake, strong right arm, big reach. Rodriguez just couldn't get the ball out of his feet. He was just stumbling at the vital time, wasn't it? But the ball to get him in had been absolutely top class.
Sure that Juan Reynoso will mix it up further at half-time. Of course, his side much closer to the start of their season. I mentioned the way the calendar year is split. The current Apertura season is only 6 games in. Actually started at the end of July. Whilst MLS, of course, just coming through a congested summer schedule with a little over a third of the regular campaign still to play. Final of the Clausura was back at the end of May. Two-legged affair, which Cruz Azul edged 2-1 on aggregate against Santos Laguna. Liga MX substitutes been put through their paces. Just behind that goal. We may well see them at the start of the second half. A certain number of them anyway.
He's got some left foot. I've seen him ping a few of those balls now. 60-yarders look absolutely effortless. Too much to worry that man.
Paulo with a free kick. His second season in MLS with the Sounders. We've seen some skills on show. We did have the All-Star Skills Challenge last night as what is becoming a familiar precursor now to this fixture, and it was just shaded by Liga MX and Jonathan Rodriguez, the man that scored the only goal of this game, with the crucial contribution in the crossbar challenge, which he was able to locate in the final seconds. So it is an event which began at the weekend, all building up to this fixture.
Valdez enjoying himself in the middle of the park here as well, certainly demonstrating his range of passing.
A little touch from Jimenez, who will get it back and gets plenty of power in the shot that followed. Flashing not far away.
Great intent, just doesn't quite wrap his foot around the ball enough. The amount of power not allowing the ball to curl. Get the feeling Andre Blake was hoping rather than knowing that was going past his upright though.
Certainly relief that he wasn't called upon, Andre Blake. Well, again, is an ever-willing runner. Almost a minute of the 3 added on at the end of the half played. Can the MLS All-Stars get themselves back on terms before the break here? They have had their moments.
Yes, they have. They've had that one very good chance that was cleared off the line. Super acrobatic play. Sanchez helping Liga MX out. Keeping game to parity. But it's been great, 45 minutes. You're always a little bit worried that it could be a bit pedestrian. It's been anything but. Players really look almost at full pace, and there's been some great demonstration of passing and movement.
Well, there's Rodriguez again. Just trying to tease it off into the path of Villarreal, but it didn't quite reach him. Header well won by Cesar Montes. Villarreal to Diego Valdez, who's been excellent.
Yeah, he sprayed the ball around from the middle. And despite all the other tackles and little bits of mayhem going on around him, he's looked a pretty cool customer.
Get the free kick here. And maybe one last chance to extend their lead, the Liga MX All-Stars in this first period. It's the 25th All-Stars game. The first in the inaugural year in 1996. Last season was the first season it couldn't happen. The 17th time that they've taken on international opposition. MLS winning 8, losing 5 of these fixtures so far. And sizing up his options. And there are plenty of them who've ventured forward for the free kick. Probably won't be time for them to have to get back again. But it is cleared away pretty comfortably. Villarreal. Paulo with the touch. And that is that for the first 45 minutes. Well, the MLS All-Stars have given as good as they've got for much of the half and had their chances, but they do trail at the break. Jonathan Rodriguez with the only goal of the game. It came 20 minutes in, perhaps against the balance of play at that stage, but was confidently taken by the Uruguayan. And the changes that followed from both sides have disrupted the flow of the game a little bit. But at the break at Banc of California Stadium, it's MLS All-Stars 0, Liga MX All-Stars 1. Angels the venue for this MLS All-Star game. Liga MX the visitors, and leading at Banc of California Stadium by a goal to 0 at half-time. One of the showpiece occasions of the MLS season. It is back for 2021. We are expecting changes for the start of the second half, with the MLS All-Stars trailing by this goal to 0. It came 20 minutes into the match. It was Jonathan Rodriguez, top scorer in Liga MX last season, their player of the season in the league, who did the damage with the finish. The next roll down, unable to prevent the ball finding his feet. Pedro Gallese was beaten before being substituted shortly afterwards. We did see a series of changes round about the half-hour mark, more expected at half-time here, although the MLS All-Star side are out there already, and it will be interesting to see, Matt Jackson, how Bob Bradley approaches it from here. It's a delicate balancing act for him as a coach, really.
Well, it is, and he can't get too obsessed with winning the game and leaving a strong side on if they're going to play more minutes than others. He will always be open to a bit of criticism from his fellow coaches, so it is indeed a difficult balancing act, but it doesn't really matter at the end of it. And I really enjoyed the first 20 minutes. I thought it was excellent. Really good tempo to the game, 1 or 2 tackles going in, which is what you ask, and some really good moments of skill, some ability, and good honest endeavour. Personnel changes again, as we will see after this break, but hopefully those players with something to prove can give us the same sort of intensity.
Yeah, plenty of changes. There is somebody that will be going up against Bob Bradley actually at the weekend in El Tráfico. Sebastian Lletget was a late call-up earlier today for the game after Emmanuel Reynoso of Minnesota didn't travel because of injury, and it is effectively, really, as you can see, all change for the start of the second period. We will get through them for you as and when. Opportunities for many, though. Ricardo Pepi, his first All-Star call-up coming at the age of just 18. He is into the thick of things as well. A match that will mean much for him, certainly. Texas-born to Mexican parents. His family grew up supporting Club America, immersed in watching Liga MX on the TV, and who has a decision to make shortly whether to play for the USA or Mexico at international level. Season he's had with FC Dallas, including becoming earlier in the campaign the youngest MLS player ever to score a hat-trick in the league. This is Murillo, who came on in the first half, plays here at Banc of California Stadium with LAFC. Powell slipping it forward, a little flick in there is ultimately in vain. Flick from Pepe. Shallowy is on as well for the start of the second half. Some season he's had with Sporting Kansas City. 12 goals, 2 behind Rui Diaz in the race for the Golden Boot. There's Robinson out there as well. That Gold Cup goal scorer in the final against Mexico in the summer. Skipper's gone off as well. Following these substitutions for you, Christian Roldan replaced by Damir Krajlak, who's Real Salt Lake's representative in this squad. Yeah, Croatian into the action.
Another good positive start from the MLS All-Stars. New batch, and if you're a young player, why not go and test yourself against the best? What a great showpiece occasion for you to match yourself up. It's the ligamx All-Stars. Just lacks a little bit of quality with the final ball into the box. The interchanges just outside the area.
Information that Walker Zimmerman is the man who made way for Miles Robinson at centre-back. 2 Atlanta All-Stars, Robinson, because George Bello was a late call-up to the squad on Monday as well. Let's see what they've got from this corner kick. Plenty of movement in the middle, but effectively misses out everybody in there. The star names introduced for the second half for Liga MX. Alexis Canelo, 14 goals in the 2021 Clausura for Toluca. Argentinian called upon by Juan Reynoso for their second half. It was part of the plan, I'm sure, to bring him on at the break. Take a little while for the game to settle down again, but the tempo remains high. The fresh legs ultimately will aid that, I'm sure. Change it right back with Julian Araujo on for Alex Roldan, and he is another eligible to play for both the USA and Mexico, and has played for the USA, but we understand wants now to play for Mexico and has requested a change of allegiance. That's why he wasn't in the Gold Cup squad, because he wasn't ready to cap commit. I'm surprised that Gustavo Bo has come off at half-time. It's rare, actually, that anybody would play more than 45 minutes in this fixture. Pepe on for him.
Had that good chance, didn't he, Bo? Just took a heavy touch towards the end of that first half. They've started the game well here. MLS All-Stars, a bit of pace. That looks like a foul. Not easy game to actually referee here, because you don't want to be seen to be too picky, but you obviously have to let the game progress as well.
Particularly when there is that little edge that we've seen, which necessarily always be the case. Recent opposition has included the likes of Atletico Madrid, as we saw at half-time, that 3-0 defeat in the most recent fixture in 2019. Prior to that, Juventus and Real Madrid both beat the All-Stars on penalties. Keeper put under pressure here. So it was only a brief appearance, wasn't it, for Rodolfo Pizarro, having made way for Leggett and substituted. Rossi also making way for Shallowy. Diego Rossi having played the first 45. And they're getting ready for Derby Day against the Galaxy at the weekend. Bradley has also brought on Eduard Atuesta with his main men with LAFC. He's on for João Paulo in the midfield. It's Krylak getting caught. 8 goals he's got for RSL so far this season.
This is what they've done well. The ligamx side have gone and hustled together in pairs. Worked really hard, working to defend that 1-goal lead. They were patient early on, they were certainly second best. And they hung in there and got the opening goal.
Cade Cowell with the cross looking for Shallowy. Big block in there because it looked as if Daniel Shallowy was set to level up the scores.
Oh, it was a fantastic block. Coming in, far post, again, great defensive instincts. Ball switched, and you've got to be so alert to the ball coming in. A little bit of an adjustment, throw your body, make a fantastic save.
Oh, but there is the equalising goal from the corner kick. Simple as that. Atuesta with the delivery. And headed in emphatically by Murillo. The MLS All-Stars are level.
Yeah, and they deserve it. Started well again in this second half. The worst time for party time. Goals always to be welcomed by defenders. Good cheer goes round the crowd as well. They have a game on.
Well, he's never scored, Jesus Murillo, in Major League Soccer, but he's got one here for the All-Stars.
Yeah, and it couldn't have been much simpler. Fairly easy delivery. The Mexican All-Stars, from being very well organised, just giving that one up very simply indeed. No challenge coming in at all. Well, there certainly should be one. Just had to make sure he got the contract right, Murillo. And that was only ending up in one place. Romo not tracking him into the box. Delight for Bob Bradley. Delight for the MLS All-Stars.
MX still maybe getting to grips with their own half-time changes, which I think I've counted 9. Nobody in the MLS side now who started the game. They are right back in the game at 1-1.
For as well organised as they've looked, it was a pretty poor goal to concede, set-piece goal. Not tracking runners and not attacking the ball. It's always going to lead to conceding. Robinson's so good in that back line with the pace that he has, the athleticism. You can always leave him isolated at the back on his own. Can match just about the quickest and best of most forwards.
Escobar coming under pressure. That has run you through some of the half-time changes. With Reynoso mixing things up as he was always likely to. Escobar coming on there at right back. Here's another who played for the champions, Cruz Azul. He's a Paraguayan international. Didn't feature for them despite being part of the squad at the Copa America in Brazil in the summer.
It's one of those games you think, if you're a fan, it's a bit creative, you could definitely get yourself a game, couldn't you? Slipping on the left wing.
There's Mori with the flick on. He was always going to play a part. He's a main man for Monterrey. And now for Mexico. They've previously been capped by Argentina in a friendly international. Naturalised Mexican citizen now. He scored 3 goals for them at the Gold Cup. He's had a spell in Europe with Benfica. You might remember Ramiro, his twin brother, was at Everton in the Premier League. There's Romo.
Just as the sun's gone down here, the atmosphere's built, hasn't it? Messi's kicking now.
More noise, which has followed that equalising goal. Yeah, MX attempting to respond here. There's Romo, who really had his sights set.
It takes a great first touch. Sits up nicely, you've got to hit those, but would have been really spectacular. Here we just see great angle on the delivery, little curl ball, goalkeeper half comes. It often puts defenders off, but simplest of headers. You know, full contact with that forehead, bringing MLS All-Stars level again. Good young group now, actually. It's a decent bunch in there.
Enjoying the moment, Murillo.
Yeah, not entirely sure it was worthy of that.
So he hasn't scored for LAFC. It's his first goal since his last appearance for his former club in Colombia, Independiente Medellin, in the Copa Libertadores in September of 2020. It's Robinson to Kai Wagner. Shallowy. Certainly a more youthful look about this side in the second half. 1 or 2 exceptions, but primarily Bob Bradley has turned to youth.
Such a feature now of MLS, isn't it, how much younger it seems to be getting and how the younger, or the superstars are younger. Talk about those transitions and players going and negotiating with the top European clubs. It's a definite feature. A real compliment to the league, to the strength of the franchises, the quality of the product that MLS football now is.
It was interesting to listen to Funes Mori actually in the pre-match press conference, because he spent his childhood growing up in Texas, and he actually won a competition on a TV show to earn a place at FC Dallas's academy. But at the time there wasn't anything like the pathway to the first team, and Dallas of course are one of the leading lights in that respect these days, in producing their own the homegrown players going on to first team action. But that wasn't the case when Funes Mori was growing up. He had to go back to Argentina really to begin his professional career. Whereas now 4 homegrown players actually selected as MLS All-Stars this year, and as you mentioned, that so many young players given an opportunity and the chance then to move on further afield and progress their careers. It's a pattern you would expect will only continue in the years to come.
No, that's right. It should be reflected as well in national team performance to go with it. Talk about how close those encounters have been over the summer. I think it'll only continue to be better, and disappointments from World Cups and not qualifying should be a thing of the past for the US side.
Flanked up by Blake. Yeah, certainly big strides forward under Greg Berhalter recently. With Mexico, which will resume in World Cup qualifying, probably good for the both of them.
Just coming in to pick up the foul here.
We should point out as well that Mexico against the USA is now 9th against 10th in the world, going on the FIFA rankings, and Canada making big strides as well. concession of the free kick, we are going to have further changes. Including, I think, third different goalkeeper for Liga MX. All three in the squad getting an opportunity. Now Guzman is going to come on. The free kick is taken in the meantime. Just run out of room, the MLS All-Stars. They're going to get the corner out of it. It's a big moment for Damir Krylak when it was announced that he'd been selected for the All-Stars. Great reception from his teammates at Real Salt Lake. He says he is representing as well as himself and his family. Tuestra is going to take the corner kick. They've scored from one already in this second half. Once more it's threatening in towards Krylak. It hasn't been dealt with. And the goalkeeper getting just enough behind it to keep out Ricardo Pepi, and now the whistle has gone.
I'll be disappointed. It's a fantastic opportunity for him. Possibly was offside, possibly given as a foul for the next challenge. But there's Pepe just loitering at the back. Ball bobs up in the air. Oh, and he just snatches it, drives it down into the turf, which takes the pace off it. Shins the ball rather than catching it flush with the laces. Fantastic chance has gone.
Encouragement, though, for the MLS All-Stars here, having got themselves on terms, creating opportunities, but now they're under pressure at the other end. Araujo away, Sambueza, who was trying to make something of it.
Could probably have shot as well on that left foot. Stood on the penalty spot, just pulled the trigger.
There's a ball on James Sands. Now he's one of the homegrown players I was referring to of New York City FC. Also forced his way into the USA side that beat Mexico in that Gold Cup final. He's on for the goal scorer.
Yeah, I like him. Solid, just very uncomplicated. It's not a slur, just knows the game very well, takes up good positions, makes it look very easy. Trip foul down this right flank, but look at the pace that they're trying to play at. This Liga MX All-Stars side, really good. You can just see the delivery, slow motion. That's always going to get you in trouble. If you're going to leave someone that much time and space, possible for a goalkeeper. Dancing impossible for most defenders, unfortunately.
Here we go with that equaliser. He's now just made way for James Sands. He's certainly played his part. Just to remind you, it does stay like this, and it is still a big if at this juncture, I guess. And we would have a penalty shootout to try and separate the sides. Matt Turner on. As we saw a moment ago. Third goalkeeper of the game for the All-Stars. Had a fine season with the Revs and became first choice at the Gold Cup for the USA. Zach Steffen was given the competition off. It was mainly an MLS-based squad that contested the CONCACAF showpiece in the summer. One of the European-based players had actually played in the CONCACAF Nations League, where again they beat Mexico in the final earlier in the summer.
Shadowy just brought down here. Possession of a free kick by the Liga MX All-Stars. See the funny side of it. They're still hustling as well. Liga MX really want something out of this game. Disappointed with the goal that they've conceded. But they're still going chasing together, which is a really good sign.
Back to Guzman again. He is the third goalkeeper for Liga MX that I mentioned. Four-time title winner during his time with Tigres. Previously capped 6 times actually by Argentina. 35 years of age now, with 3 goalkeepers all really in the veteran stages of their careers. We'll get the remainder of the contest. It's been given away, and that could be costly, but the shot scuffed somewhat when it came from Vega.
Yeah, that's where Robinson's so good. He can recover, and he's got pace and he's got power. Moves his body quickly enough. Bit of a change of mind, that's trouble Look at Robinson, how quickly he moves those feet and get the lunge in. His partner in crime will be absolutely delighted. That's all Matt Turner. Doesn't have to make a save. Well done, Robinson.
Alexis Vega, another of those who was away with Mexico in Tokyo at the Olympics, part of their bronze medal winning squad. Plays for the Chivas club in Guadalajara. Corner is cleared, but the follow-up wasn't quite so convincing. Now, though, maybe the counter-attack.
Just slightly overhit. Chavez just sweeping up.
Approaching the midway point of this second half. 60% of the ball for the visitors, but it's the MLS All-Stars who've had the better of it after the break on the score sheet in levelling it up with that Murillo goal. Vega almost in again, in fact he would have been, but it was a vital challenge that came in just to close the door in time.
Just stretching Vega at the end, wasn't he? Onto that left foot. Couldn't get enough power into the shot. Certainly carry a threat though, ligamx All-Stars. It's a league that's well known for its physicality as well as its technical quality.
That's the point actually that Zalarajan made when comparing the two leagues. He did say that the gap was closing between them, but I felt that MLS was more physical and about organisation than the technical element in Liga MX.
And it's always had the reputation in MLS for having fantastic physical attributes in the majority of the players. It's not the greatest of challenges. Atuesta taking the easy way out.
Excellent Matt Turner at the Gold Cup, wasn't he? Making the most of the chance afforded him by Greg Berhalter. Some season that the Reds are having as well at the top of the Supporters' Shield standings.
Been brilliant, haven't they? Really have been. Sustained now for a large part of this campaign. Starting to look towards those playoffs. What you need to do to win the whole show.
MLS Originals back on an upward trajectory under Bruce Arena. I was going to say just kept it in play, but not quite, as Luis Romo attempted to hook that back from the byline. Defensive midfield player who can fill in at centre-back, but has been getting forward fairly frequently so far. Cade Cowell is stopped in his tracks.
Aguilar again, really good pace going across to that left-hand side. Good cover.
Mention the festivities which have been going on over the course of the last few days, all building up to this. It started on Sunday with the MLS Works Day of Service. The All-Star Community Day on Monday. So much good work going on behind the scenes as well. The All-Stars Skills Challenge, one of the highlights yesterday. The All-Star Concert last night as well was held at the Tortured LA Coliseum.
Now they certainly know how to put on a show, don't they?
Pre-game festival earlier today at Exposition Park as well. It was a big hit. All building up to this, and as we head in towards the last 20 minutes of the match now, it could still go either way.
Yeah, the skills challenge looked a challenge. I'm sure too many centre-backs would have relished the opportunity.
Always great entertainment now. The last few years seems to get bigger every year. Brought in the crossbar challenge as its own category for the first time this year. That's where Liga MX won it right at the end. Decision goes against Araujo here, and there's a card coming out as well from Armando Villarreal.
His pace was excellent. Didn't really need to put the hand on the shoulder. Clear pullback. presents ligamx with a really good opportunity here. But he was flying anyway, Araujo. He's got that great athletic ability, and he was catching comfortably his winger.
He's had a really good season with the Galaxy. Bob Bradley's picks for the game will be up against him, of course, in El Tráfico at the weekend. They make hard work of getting it away, but ultimately it's successful enough. Turner can come and claim it. Here's Araujo. First cap for the USA came in a friendly against El Salvador at the end of last year, but as I mentioned, it appears that he will be switching to Mexico. Born here in California, of Mexican descent. Very content to let that one go on.
I haven't passed the ball well into the forwards this evening. MLS All-Stars. Link-up play's been probably the poorest part of the game overall. That man has got the ability to pass it pretty well. All areas of the pitch. Generally gives you a return.
He figured prominently in that aforementioned skills challenge last night. And we see Nani in the conclusion. After a few minutes, you suspect. Only a couple of days until Orlando take on Inter Miami when the regular season resumes.
Ricardo Pepe looks a little bit, for all his abilities, looks a little bit lost at times. Trying to chase that ball down. Just looked a bit bemused. Good play.
Canelo.
Oh, what a chance this will be.
Trying to fashion something, and there will be a position of promise to follow from the free kick, certainly.
Yeah, they moved the ball brilliantly. 1-2's down the middle of the pitch. Clear foul, clear trip coming in. This is far enough out to be able to trouble a goalkeeper.
Liga may well be the favourite here, certainly Turner with reason to be worried. Sambueza is the other player standing over it, the one closest to the ball. As the MLS All-Stars wall is assembled on the D.
Feels like it should be the right footer. Can the left footer Sambueza go outside of that wall? Oh, he's tried.
Valiant attempt, but didn't really have Turner too concerned, I don't think.
No, he didn't get the whip. And he's got to put that much curl on the ball, or he's going to be rising. A long run up as well. I just feel that's going to be sending the ball high and wide. Not very handsome. Certainly was the case there. What point do the sides start playing for penalties, do we think? Maybe 89.5 minutes, one would hope.
Turner would probably be happy enough. He had the chance to become a hero, wouldn't he? I wonder if that factored into the thinking, the order in which the goalkeepers were introduced tonight as well. Both the sides already on their third keeper of the contest.
I think you might be giving the coaches a little bit too much credit there.
George Bello waiting to take this throw. He was another of the later call-ups on Monday. A little delay was to allow for the introduction of Nani. For his second All-Star game, he did feature 2 years ago against Atletico Madrid as well.
Certainly worthy of the name, isn't he? Great energy, playing for his side. Does so well for them. Looks like he's still got a real appetite as well. Love that, when that enthusiasm stays alive.
Yes, he's trying to find a way through. He's a wonderful example of professionalism. Nani, isn't he, particularly given the impact that he's had on Orlando City. All of his teammates talk about the standards that he sets in training, in raising the bar that they have to try and meet.
Yeah, and you see him down there in Florida in the home games when he's barking out orders and organising people. It's not just about the flair and the quality that he's got.
12 caps, 24 goals for Portugal. 9 goals actually for Orlando City in MLS this season. He's having another very productive year. That's a good ball. It needed the touch from James Sands. He got the touch.
Yeah, he did, and I wasn't entirely sure he knew exactly what was around him, but he's diligent. Plays that deep-lying role really well. Quite rightly giving some credit from his goalkeeper. No need necessarily to feel like you have to do the tracking, but those little bits of hard yards, good professionalism.
There goes the corner, comfortably clutched under his crossbar by Turner.
Yes, he shouldn't be getting beaten from a header from there. It was a comfortable catch. Didn't have to go to ground for it.
He tested again here, but the ball needed to be better. Very little in it, attempts-wise. Liga MX All-Stars have just edged ahead in that statistic, but only just. The side have been particularly accurate, though. There's 5 attempts on target in the game so far. Robinson to Bello, 2 USA international teammates and Atlanta United teammates combine.
Just struck the MLS All-Stars to get somebody on the ball who's going to be creative for them. Christian Roldan certainly got the ability in the middle of the park to dictate, but they've just been a bit scrappy in this second half.
Twester hasn't really maybe quite had the same influence as Roldan did in the first, has he? This is the one really charged with that responsibility now. Sebastian Leggett has been on the fringes really as well since his introduction. We'll see another couple of Liga MX changes in a moment. Lira of the Pumas club is going to be next into the fray. It's Victor Guzman, who was Rookie of the Year in Liga MX last season, hence his inclusion in the squad.
See the goal again, the scorer going off. A fine header from Villarreal, taking MLS All-Stars level again. A really young group, talented group. Interesting to see where most of those end up.
This one breaks favourably for Funes Mori. Thought about the shot, didn't quite have the space himself, but still the danger. Escobar. Twilax stretching to try and cut it out. His presence was probably important enough to prevent any further threat.
Yeah, that shot definitely wasn't on half volley. But not any sort of control coming in from the midfield.
Side find a winner in these last 10 minutes before the possibility of penalties, maybe a probability of penalties. Yellow card out again though.
Yeah, interesting, a couple of challenges, and really like the fact that there's been no adverse reaction. I think they've seen it as being in the spirit of the game, certainly not malicious intent, just a bit of an overstretch managed to pick themselves up and carry on. Don't mind that from Atuesta. Seen him put his foot in, doing him any harm. Breakaway opportunity here. Look at the pace down the outside.
Well, George Bello taking the pass from Nani. Sliding challenge was an important one. Only just come on, Eric Lira, one of the two most recent substitutes, and that was a crucial contribution from him.
Yeah, it certainly was. Just brilliant pace down the left-hand side. Well-weighted ball. Come on, Nani, give us a bit of a special.
Again, plenty to aim at in the middle. Now over the corner kick for the MLS All-Stars. Some questions with the delivery. Bello is underneath the bouncing ball, but was a little outnumbered. It will come back for Nani, though. Time to assess his options as well. The intention was to return it to him. Aguilar was in the way.
I'm sure shots might have been a better option there. Pretty tight to thread that pass through back to Nani.
Just to confirm that yellow card for Atuesta. He joins Julian Araujo in the book. I mentioned the edge earlier, and it's been maintained really throughout the majority of the match. Remains right in the balance, this going into the closing stages. Recent history would suggest that the MLS All-Stars wouldn't perhaps want it to go to penalties, having been beaten in that manner by both Juventus and Real Madrid in two of the last three All-Star games. Got to go back actually to 2015 for the MLS's last win, when they beat Tottenham Hotspur in Colorado by 2-1.
Well, if you had to pick a night for a penalty shootout, this is probably it. Unlikely to be one that haunts you for the rest of your existence, like some of them that we know and love so well.
Quite be the same elements of pressure. We shall see. Hasn't got that far yet. Teams continuing to suggest they are more than capable of creating chances. Lewis Nani is looking to link with Shallowy there. And once more was able to get a foot in. He's only 21, Mexican youth international, who joined Pumas from Necaxa back in 2020. I was mentioning the selection policy, and the MLS side was picked as quite well established these days for Liga MX. Their first 14 selections were the winners and nominees for their Ballon d'Oro Player of the Year awards in various different categories. Shot comes in from Ricardo Pepi and is parried away really by Guzman.
And that's his best moment. Challenge.
And again Pepi, but it's cleared away by Tessio this time. The rest of the Liga MX squad was picked by their coach Juan Reynoso, who qualified as the Coach of the Year. Lovely little touch by Krylak. Here's Pepi again. He's able to turn and get the shot away, but he couldn't quite control the shot.
I think he might have a go at the first one. It's a little volley opportunity. It's a lovely cushioned ball that comes back to him. Safe from the goalkeeper there. Easy to get that one wrong if you try it too hard. Sometimes you've just got to be aware of the fact it's got to hit you. That was the one that was a better chance. Watch go by.
Teenage talent has had his openings in this second half, certainly. To the final 5 of the 90 now. The crowd really are enjoying this. A little more vocal as the evening has gone on.
It's lacked a bit of the quality, hasn't it, in the second period? Been a bit more direct at times. But I'm really impressed with the intensity that's been played throughout, though. Certainly fair to say both teams still going for it here.
Yeah, that hasn't really dipped at any stage, has it, despite all the changes?
No, you get pre-season friendly mode of pass and nobody makes a tackle and there's no contact whatsoever. Certainly not been that.
Escobar again. Of course, Liga MX with plenty of support in the stands as well. 2.5 million people of Mexican descent living in Los Angeles. It's a standout option to stage this particular fixture. Stranger, of course, to hosting all-star games, this city, in some of the other sports. It's done so Major League Baseball and will do so again next year. 6 NBA all-star games as well, including in 2018 at Staples Center between the NHL. Olympic Games, of course, on the way to LA in 2028. Villarreal did reach for his pocket again. I think it's the first Liga MX booking of the game, is it?
Yeah, it's a scruffy on this. A bit unnecessarily. Bit of contact that's not really required from Romo. Probably not particularly appreciated from Leggett. Very serious refereeing. Yellow card at this stage. Don't think it'll be that important.
There's Romo, just 4 appearances short of his century in Liga MX. Cruz Azul.
Bit of good respect between the players as well, hasn't it? I know we've had 1 or 2 slight niggling fouls, but we've seen no squaring up or obvious shows of disrespect. Been a good contest. Certainly seen a lot worse friendlies.
For Atuesta again in the midfield now, George Bello. Another of the teenagers on show.
I do like him. Athletic ability, energy.
Jet did well initially, now Nani with the touch. Referee is content to let it continue as the MLS All-Stars still have it with Damir Krylak. He's certainly been heavily involved since his late introduction into the action, finding Leggett. Bello well advanced. Deep delivery, and there's a chance in there. He couldn't quite get on the end of it, but there was a nervous moment for the Liga MX defence, certainly.
Yeah, you just wonder where the lovely floated ball, not really on for heading at goal. Just a bit frustrated as the flicked clearance comes back off him for a harmless goal kick.
Great moment though, isn't it, for Ricardo Pepi, still only 18. Growing up, as I mentioned, in a family immersed in Mexican football, really big Club America fans. Used to watch the Liga MX games on the TV every weekend. Paso, where he grew up, getting the chance to take on the cream of that league, representing Major League Soccer. We're in the last minute of the 90. I'm hearing there'll be at least 2 more to add on. This is Escobar. His effort is blocked away by Bello.
That was a good opportunity. Just seemed to take a fraction too long to make the decision. To wrap his foot around that ball, feeling across that 6-yard box. Someone getting a late winner. What are you going for? Goalkeepers enjoying themselves in the penalty shootout.
I think the likely conclusion, isn't it, at the moment? Victor Rivas with the confirmation, the 4th official of those 2 added minutes. The Liga MX All-Stars running out of room on that occasion. Hasn't been too significantly tested.
It will be in a minute.
sort of season he's having, he may well be expecting to become the hero.
Yeah, let him take one.
Good penalty-saving record. Saving 8 of 18 faced in his career. Romo will go back. Guzman. Escobar will leave this one for Romo once more. Don't appear to be in any great hurry, really. Now they'll launch it long. This could be more threatening. Escobar with the cross.
What a ball that was.
Swing and a miss in the attempt to get on the end of it. Is there time for one last MLS attack? Led by Nani. Got Pepe ahead of him. Got plenty back in white to try and deal with the danger. Nani still has it though, and they step off him for a second. And Tuesta to Araujo. No way through. And the sides can't be separated, so it will go to a penalty shootout. Well, both had their moments in the second half. MLS All-Stars battling back from behind to level it with a goal from Jesus Murillo. But they couldn't go on and turn it around. Liga MX had taken the lead in the first half from Rodriguez. And pegged back after the break. The MLS All-Stars have never won a penalty shootout in the history of this fixture. Let us see if that will change, because this is going the distance. Full time at the end of the 90 minutes at Banc of California Stadium. It's all square. The MLS All-Stars won, Liga MX All-Stars won. Bit of work now for Bob Bradley to do to sort out the order of the penalty kick takers. In the meantime, let's have a look at the statistics from the 90 minutes. Not much in it really, which suggests perhaps that the 1-1 scoreline is about fair. MLS All-Stars just edging the total attempts, only just 15 to 13, 3 to 2 on target. Not a lot in it possession-wise. Liga MX with the edge in that particular stat. Fouls committed into double figures for both sides in what was a fiercely competitive contest. These are the major moments. There's a good look early in the game for the MLS side. After the ball broke kindly for Diego Rossi, and he looked like he made the most of it, but a brilliant clearance from Sanchez off the line.
Yeah, does so well, reads the play brilliantly. Built into you as the defender, you just always run back in, and that's great athleticism.
It was the Liga MX side that took the lead though 20 minutes into the match, and this is how they did it. And then towards Jonathan Rodriguez, reached him despite the attentions of Alex Roldan, and the Uruguayan did the rest in clinical fashion, really.
Yeah, when he's trying to volley this with his laces, it comes right off his toes at the end. You just see it in slow motion, just a body in the way as well. And through the legs of Neymar. But then they were level with a great header.
Jesus Murillo with that equalising goal from Atuesta's corner. And that's how it stood after 90 minutes. So we go to the penalty shootout, and the chance may be for Matt Turner to make himself a hero. Finished on the winning side against Mexico in the Gold Cup final. Did save one of 2 penalties he faced at that particular competition. He saved 2 of 8 in Major League Soccer, including from Tati Castellanos of New York City FC, most recently in June. The third different goalkeeper to feature in this game tonight for the MLS All-Stars, but he's the one on the field at the conclusion that will get to face the penalties. The same situation applying to Nahuel Guzman at the other end. So sorting out who will take which penalty for his side as well, but it's all part really of the entertainment now. Matt Jackson, they'll want to finish on the winning side, of course, but you mentioned it a little earlier, there isn't the same sort of pressure necessarily that you would normally expect in these sort of situations.
It's definitely fair to say that. Oh, the crowd love it. Heard the announcement there'd be penalties. It was one of the bigger cheers of the evening. But it is the perfect scenario, really. I mean, somebody is going to miss, but it really doesn't matter, and I'd expect a pretty good demonstration of penalty taking actually here, simply because that real nervous tension will not exist.
Two of the previous 3 MLS All-Star games went to penalties. All-Stars losing to Juventus in 2018, 5-3 in a shootout, and 4-2 they were beaten by Real Madrid in Chicago in 2017. They've never won one. It will be, by the looks of things, the Liga MX side to go first. This is Ruben Sambueza to take the opening penalty of the shootout. He's on loan at Toluca from Club Leon, formerly of Club America. Experienced campaigner at the age now of 37, the Argentinian.
Yes, he's probably seen 1 or 2 bigger moments than this in his career.
So, the first kick of the shootout contest. It's a big winding run-up, Sambueza. And goes down the middle in the end as Matt Turner dives out of the way of it. And the Liga MX side are up and running.
It's slightly bizarre with the approach. And the goalkeeper's going to dive for the first one. Who cares as long as it hits the back of the net?
So Damir Kreilach is going to be first up for the MLS All-Stars. His debut in this fixture at the age of 32, 4 years with Real Salt Lake. 8 goals in Major League Soccer so far this season. Top scorer.
Interesting, not sure I've had him as first pick. Not that it matters, just depends upon the outcome. He's going to look super relaxed.
And he does score, did enough with it. And the goalkeeper diving the wrong way. And both teams are on the board.
I've seen it work. Goalkeeper trying to style it out, knowing that he's gone the wrong way.
There's Mori on his way next. And he will certainly expect to score. Half-time substitute. Funes Mori doesn't score. Too close to Matt Turner, who makes the save. It's the first twist in the tail.
Is this the new on vogue way to take penalties? Drill them down the middle. Trailing legs of goalkeeper does really well. Just a bit of a reaction. He moved them as well, Turner, so sharp enough instincts. Little advantage to the MLS All-Stars.
Can they underline that advantage? Daniel Shallowy is the one chance with the responsibility of doing so. Standout season he's having. Just done a call up to the Hungarian national team for World Cup qualifying next month. Looking to win his first cap. Shallowy does score confidently. It was never really in doubt.
Good penalty. Head down, curling away from the goalkeeper. Like to see the reaction as well. It still means something. There you go.
Really well struck from the Sporting Kansas City man. And something to his coach as well.
Nah, he's faking that. Not remotely bothered.
Was involved, as I mentioned, in that 6-6 in the early iterations of this fixture was Bob Bradley. Oh, it's glazed over the bar from Eric Lira. Well, he was on late in the game, and his major impact is one that he will want to forget.
Yeah, that was ugly. This misses the second goal. Oh dear, still going up. Funny enough, if you asked him to do that in real time again and demonstrate that exact skill, I'm not sure he'd be able to do it. I think it takes a bit of pressure off Mr. Atuesta.
There's a bit. Liga MX with 3 penalties taken and only 1 of them scored. Guzman needs to make the save really here from the Colombian, Atuesta. Oh, and the penalty is a poor one.
Dear.
Straight at the goalkeeper. He barely had to move to make the save, barely had to do anything. And it's a chance missed from the MLS All-Stars.
It's definitely not a hand stinger. It looks like a failed Panenka, that one, doesn't it? It was horrible.
Without even really getting the air in the Panenka, it was a bizarre one. Atuesta plays for Bob Bradley, of course, at LAFC here at Banc of California Stadium.
Yeah, you might be having a quiet word with him about that one.
So next up for the Liga MX side, Salvador Reyes, and Turner does brilliantly again, guessed right by going left. And that's 3 successive failures from the spot now, isn't it, for the visitors?
Worst penalty shootout ever.
Good stop though from Turner.
Yeah, it does really well. Look at the concentration, athleticism. Gets the left arm down. And another good reaction from him. Always matters. Oh, very fitting.
This to win it.
He has definitely seen bigger moments than this in his career.
Doesn't look to be feeling the pressure on the
Showboat
walk
special.
up to the spot, does he?
I think they'll all be pretty confident in him. Man for the moment.
It's Nani, and he has missed it.
That was horrendous.
Fluffed his lines as well.
This is missed by a good 6 yards, maybe 8. How high and wide is... Oh my goodness. Goes about sideways. Oh, I've just set you up perfectly. Dear, dear.
Well, that's 4 consecutive misses now in the shootout, isn't it? And 5 in total. This to keep it alive. If there is another miss, it is all over. It will be Luis Romo just to roll it past the goalkeeper in a fitting fashion, really, given the way the shootout has been conducted.
Yes, we said it might not be the most high-pressure moment. Certainly not be the most high-quality moment. Yeah, yeah, I like that. Bit of an acknowledgement for the goalkeeper that he's been done.
So 2-2, but the MLS All-Stars with 1 more kick to come, a second chance to win it. And this one will fall to Ricardo Pepi.
Yeah, it was a bit quiet in the game, slightly disappointed. Just check the scoreboard, it's getting a little bit of verbals. Just put your foot through it.
Well, this will mean a lot to him, and he's blasted it home. Powerful penalty to win the shootout for the MLS All-Stars. The decisive kick when it came was thumped home by the 18-year-old Ricardo Pepi, who has a decision to come shortly whether to commit his international future to the USA or to Mexico. He qualifies for both, but he is the MLS All-Stars hero here.
Yeah, and he might want to tone his celebrations down if he's going to go and play for Mexico, but good game. Enjoyed the tempo of it. Lacked a little bit of quality maybe in the second half. Certainly lacked some quality during the penalty shootout. Always good entertainment. Fine fare over the last couple of days. Really good advert for both leagues. Thought the players conducted themselves brilliantly well. Really good professionalism, bit of respect all round. Some real quality. Different ends of the playing spectrum for individuals in there. They've had a great night.
Certainly enjoying it in the scenes of celebration in California that follow. The MLS All-Stars win a penalty shootout for the first time. They do so 3-2, near misses in recent seasons against Real Madrid and Juventus, but they've got the better of the Liga MX All-Stars in the end in that penalty shootout. 1-1 after 90 minutes. The MLS All-Stars win it 3-2 on penalties. was the decisive moment from Ricardo Pepi.
Yeah, and all the run-ups you've seen and all the placings, just put your laces through it and keep it on target, obviously, Mr. Nani.
Nani having spurned the earlier chance to win it, but it mattered not in the end. Victory in the shootout for the MLS All-Stars against the best of Liga MX. Hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks for your company.